Question 2 says, for this situation, would you measure length, area, or volume? So let's read our situation. The amount of soil need to fill a flower pot. So a flower pot is a three-dimensional figure, and an amount of soil needed, this refers as a vacuum. So this is what, so this is a volume, okay, as we need to fill a three-dimensional flower pot. The distance of a bike ride, so distances are measured in length, or the distances are, they are length, okay, because they cannot use an area or a volume. The amount of wall space covered by a poster, we use an area because the wall is a two-dimensional figure, so here is an area. The amount of concrete needed to fill a patio is a three-dimensional figure, so this is volume. Last two is the space inside a moving truck. Any space is three-dimensional, so this is volume. And last but not least, the distances are always length. Okay, now we want to determine the volume of the figure. Here we have a three-dimensional figure, and if you remember, when we first learned about the volume, we said the volume, before we took the formulas, we used to find the volumes using unit cubes. So you can either count the cubes, which is 1 2 3 4, which in this case the volume is v equal 4, or you can just count the number of layers. Here we have one layer, and the number in each layer, which is 4, and time these two number, 1 times 4 is 4. So the number of layers is 1, number in each layer is 4, 1 times 4 is 4 cubic unit. Here the number of layers 1 2, we have 2 layers. Number of each layer, here we have 1 2 3 4, we have 4 cubes in each layer. The volume is 4 times 2 is 8 cubic units. Now here we have 1 to 2 layers. This is 1, this is 2, we have 2 layers. Here we have 1 2 3 4 5 6, we have 6 in each layer, so 2 times 6 is 12. Now here we have 1 2 3 4, 4 layers, and we have 1 2 3 4 5 6, we have 6 cubes in each layer. 6 times 4 is 24 cubic units. Now, how can you determine the how can you determine the volume of the box? Here we have how many layers? Here we have 1 2 layers, and we have how many? 1 2 3 4, 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4. So we have a length of 1 2 3 4. We have the length L equal 4, and here the W is 1 2 3 4 5 6. W equals 6, and the number of layers, or the height, 1 2, H equal 2. So V equal 4 times 6 times 2, which is equal to 48 cubic units. Now here this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 cube units. I just counted the number of cubes. Here we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. We have 10 cubes in each layer, and 1 2 3 3 layers, and here we have 10 cubes. 3 times 10 is 30 cubic units. Now here we are going to label the dimension. The length here is 1 2 3 4, the width is 1 2, and the height is 1 2 3 4 5 6. The height here is 6. Also here the height is 1 2 3, so here is 3, and the length is 1 2 3 4 5 6, and the width is 1 2 3 4. Okay, these are pretty easy questions. Now this question, what is the volume of the figure, and tell us which formula you use or why. So the figure they are talking about is this one. Now here, since as I've told you previously, we have two formulas. One is V equal P times H, and the other is equal V equal L times W times H. When we have all three dimensions, we use the second one, which is V equal L times W times H, which is equal 7 times 2 times 5 is equal what? 7 times 5 is 35 times 2 is 70 centimeter cube. Here we have only one and two dimension. We only have the base and the height. So we use the first formula, which is V equal B times H or BH. It's equal 30 times 4, which is equal to 120 inches cube or cubic inches. Here we also use the second one because we have two numbers here, B base and height, B times H, which is equal 45 times 4, which is equal to 180 inches cube. And lastly, we have three numbers, so use V equal L times W times H, which is equal 8 times 4 times 10, which is equal to 320 feet cube or cubic feet. Now which equation represents the different ways to find the volume of this figure? We have prism A and prism B. The way is 2 times 3 times 4. Where is 2 times 3 times 4? Or 4 times 3 times 2 is equal 4 times 3 times 2. This first one is correct. Now 3 times 4 times 2, which is equal 4 times 3 plus 2. This one is incorrect. 3 times 4 times 2 equals 3 times 4 times 3 times 2, which is also incorrect. The last one is 3 times 4 plus 2, which is, this one is incorrect. So only the first one is correct. You either multiply 4 times 3 times 2 or 2 times 3 times 4. They are both the same. Okay, let's move on to the next question. The volume of rectangular prism is 48 cubic inches, which could be the dimensions of the prism. So we have a rectangular prism that has a volume of 48. Which numbers can be the dimensions? So we want these three numbers, the length times the width times the height should equal to, so L times W times H should equal 48 cubic inch. So if we multiply 24, let's say the number A, 24 times 1 is 24, times 2 is 48, so A is correct. Let's try B. 6 times 6 is 36, and 36 times 4 is not 48, so this one is incorrect. 16 times 16 times 16 is 4096, which is incorrect. Lastly, 12 times 2 is 24 times 2 is 48, so this one is correct. So number A and number D are correct. Okay, now we are going to use the extend the place value to decimals here. Now, which of the following statement is true? 0.009 or 9,000th is 10 times as 0.009. So 9,000 is 10 times of 900. Is this correct? Of course, this is wrong. It's actually the other way around. 900 is 10 times 10 times of 10 times as much as 9,000. Okay, here 900 or 0.09 is 10 times as 0.009. This one is correct, as I just said. Now 900 is 1 out of 10 of 9,000. This is incorrect. And lastly, 9 is one of okay, these are all incorrect. Only B is correct. Now A here, 0.003 is 1 out of 10 out of 0.0. So 3,000, 3,000th is 1 out of 10, or represents 1 out of 10 of 300. This is correct. Okay, and 300th is 1 out of 10 of 3,000, so this is incorrect. Now 3/10 is 10 times as much as 3,000. This is incorrect, of course. 3 is 10 times as 0.3, 0.03. This is incorrect because 0.03 times 10, it's 0.3 or 3 tenths. Okay, so only number 1 is correct. Let's move on to the next question. Now, Marcelia has $5, Nico has $0.5, and Benjamin has 0.05. So Marcelia has $5, Nico has 50 cents, and Benjamin has 5 cents. So Benjamin has how many times as much money as Nico? Of course, it's 1 out of 10 because Nico has 10 times as much. Okay, and Marcella have what? How many times as much money as Nico? She has $5. He has 50 cents, so she has 10 times. Here, 1 out of 10 times. Okay. Now complete the sentence. $9 is 10 times, of course. These questions are pretty straightforward. And 90 cents is 1 out of 10 times. I don't think these questions needs explaining because they're pretty straightforward. Now let's move on to question 13. Which of the statement is true? 0.002 is 10 times. Of course, this is incorrect. It's 1 out of 10, 1 over 10. That's 10 times. 0.02 is 1 out of 10 of 0.002. So this is, of course, incorrect. 0.02 is 10 times as much as 0.002. This is correct because this is 200th and this is 2,000th. So 200th is 10 times as much as 2,000th. The statement is correct. 2 is 1 out of 10 of 2/10th. This is incorrect. Now we complete the sentence. 0.05 is how much? This is 1/10 times. Now, what is each decimal rounded to the nearest whole number? So when rounding to the nearest whole number, we look at only the first number after the decimal point. If that number is 5 or more, okay, we add 1 to the number before or the digit before and put all the digits after the decimal point, the decimal period, zeros. If it's less than 5, we just put zeros and don't add the 1. So here we have 87.39. We look at the first number after the decimal point, which is the number, okay, I made it too small, which is the number 3. Which is the number 3. 3, is it more or less than 5? 3 is less than 5. So the 87 stays the same. The 87 stays the same and we put zeros. So it's 7.87.00, or you just write it as 87, okay? Now here, 4.00 is less than 5, so we just put as 4. 12.7, the 7 is more than 5, so we add 1. So it becomes 13.00, or basically 13. Okay? And finally, we have 15.55. The 5 will add 1, so it will become 16. Okay. Now, what is each decimal rounded to the nearest tenth? When we round to the nearest tenth, we look at not the first one, the first number after the decimal period, we look at the second one. So pay attention to the question. When it says nearest tenth, you look at the second number after the period, the decimal point. When it says to the nearest whole number, though, you look at the first number. So it all depends on the question. Okay? Now, the same logic applies. If the number is more than 5, you add 1. If it's less than 5, you do not add 1. You just put 0 instead of that number. So here we have 9. 9 is bigger than 5, so it becomes 42.90. You can write the 0 and you can delete the 0. It doesn't make much difference, okay? But I would prefer if you delete the 0, okay? But you can still write the 0, 4.90 or 4.9, okay? Now, let's look at the second one. We have 3.65. We look at the 5. 5 is equal to 5, so we add 1 to the 6. So it will become 3.7. In similar fashion, this will become 16.1 and this will become 98.2. Okay. Now, Danshia rounded a number to the nearest tenth to get 14.7. What number could she have rounded to get this answer? So we want a number that when we round it to the nearest tenth, we get 14.7. So we have a lot of numbers here. The first one I can think of is 14.5, sorry, 6, 5. Because if you rounded 14.65, this one to the nearest tenth, this one is 5, you will get what? You will get 14.7. You can also write 14.71. When you round this number, 1 is less than 5, so this will stay the same. So it will be 14.7. And you can also write 14.67, 14.68, 14.69, 14.72. So we have many answers for this question. Now, which statements are true? The decimal 43.678 rounded to the nearest tenth is 43.6. This is incorrect because this is 7 here, and 7 adds 1 to the 6, so it should be 43.7. So this is incorrect. The decimal 43.678 rounded to the nearest tenth is 14.7. As I just said, this is correct. The decimal 43.678 rounded to the nearest hundredth. So when we round to the nearest hundredth, we look at the third number. And we do the same thing. If the third number is more than 5, if the third number is 5 or more than 5, we add 1 and put 0 instead of that number. If it's less than 5, we do not add anything, but we only put 0. So when 8 is bigger than 5, the answer will be what? You will add 1 here, so the answer would be 43.68, which is written here, so this one is correct. And lastly, this is 43.67, so this is incorrect. Okay, let's continue here. We have the masses of 5 dogs are shown around each mass to the nearest whole number. As we said, the nearest whole number, we look at the first one. So the first dog is 22.8. So this will round up 22.8, will round up to approximately 23. We don't forget the unit kg. And here 25.4. 4 is less than 5, so it will be 25 kg. And the third dog is 27.1, will be approximately 27. The fourth dog is 25.8, will round up to approximately 26 kg. Here kg. And the last dog is 26.7. This will become 27 kgs. Okay, now let's the mass of the sun takes up about 99.86% of the mass of our solar system. Now we want to round it to the nearest tenth. When we round to the nearest tenth, we look at the second digit after the period or the decimal point. So 6 here is bigger than 5, so the answer should be 99.9%. And now, which of the following numbers are closer to 100? Which are closer to 99? So basically, it's the nearest whole number. Which one rounds up to 100? Which one rounds up to 99? So this rounds up to 99. This to 100. Because when you look at the first number, 8 is bigger than 5. So you will add 1 here, this will be 100. Similarly, this will be 99. And this will be 99. This also will be 99. and finally this will be 100. Now, this question says the path around a lake is shown. The path around a lake is part stone, which is this part, and part dirt. About how long is the path around the lake? So we just add these two numbers. When it says about how, so this is an estimation. So we estimate 58.9 plus 107.2, because the stone part is 107.2, and the dirt part is 58.9. So this will become 58.9 will become 59 plus, and 107.2 will become 107. When we add these two together, we will have an answer of 166 meter. Okay, now I will just leave question 10 for you guys. And question 11, the winner of a skateboarding competition scored 87.83 points. The second place skateboarding scored 81.5 points. About how much more points did the winner score? When you read about how many more, or how much more, it's always a subtraction. It represents subtraction. How many more represents subtraction, and when you read the word about, it's an estimation. Okay, so 87.83 minus 81.50. When you estimate it, this will become 89, or sorry, 88 minus this will be 82. So this will be 7 points, or sorry, 6 points, not 7 points. This is 6 points. Okay. Always when you read about, when it says about, this is also always means estimate. Basically means rounding. Aaron has 1.3 meters of red yarn and 1.6 meters of purple yarn. Aaron says he has 2.9 meters of yarn. Is his answer reasonable? Okay, so let's just add them. If we just round 1.3 plus 1.65. If we round them, 1.3 will becomes 1 and 1.65 will become 2. This will equal 3, and 2.95 is very close to 3. So yes, it's reasonable. So it is a reasonable answer. Let me just write it up top here. Yes, it's reasonable. So it's reasonable. Okay, I'm just going to leave this question for you. It's also about rounding. And let's move on to the next part. Now here is an addition. Now it says write the addition equation. So he only wants the equation by the decimal grade. So what do we do here is we count how many blue blue squares and how many red or sorry yellow squares, and we just add them. So how many you have? 1 2 3. Remember, each small square is 1 over 100 or 0.01. So we have 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So we have 0.59 plus you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 87, 0.87. So we have 59 blue squares and 87 yellow squares. The answer will be 1.46 squares in total. Here we have 70 blue squares and how many yellow squares? We have 53, so it's 0.53, and the answer will be 1.23 squares in total. Now here's what is the difference. 0.09 minus 0.02. So here we have two digits, here we have two digits. 9 minus 2 is 7, so the answer is 0.07. How to solve this? It's like this. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. We have 9 squares. Okay, take away 2 squares. Take away 2 squares, so the answer is 7 squares. Okay, now similarly we've solved this. 0.25 minus 0.11 is 0.14 because it's 25 minus 11 and you just put the period point. And you do the same thing, you put 25 you put 25 red squares, and here this is 21 22 23 24 25, and you take away 15 14. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 13 14. You take away 14 squares and you will get, sorry, you take away 11 squares, not 14 squares. The answer will be the answer will be 14. Let's just take away, let's just delete everything here, and you just put the now you just take away 11, which is 11 is the first row plus 1. And I want you to solve this on your own, these two questions. And I'm going to move to this one. Yes. Now write the exponential form as multiplication expression. What do we mean by a multiplication expression? So we should write the multiplication equation. So we have 10 to the power of 4. We know that 10 to the power of 4 equal 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So this should be how many times? 4 times. So this number down, which is 10, this is called the base, and this is called the exponent, ex. So the base is the number that we multiply, and the exponent is the number of copies or the number of times we multiply. So 10 to the power of 4 is 10 multiplied by itself 4 times. Now 10 to the power of 2 is 10 multiplied by itself how many times? 2 times. So it's 10 times 10. And 10 to the power of 3, this is 10 times 10 times 10, and 10 to the power of 6 is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, so it's 6 times. And 10 to the power of 100 is 10 multiplied by 10 100 times. Okay, now which expression is equivalent to 10 to the power of 4? 10 to the power of 4, it's 10 multiplied by itself 4 times, so the number C is correct, D is wrong, B is wrong, and C is 1000, so it's also wrong. Now estimate the products of multi-digit factors. The first one is 643. So this is an estimation. So what do we do when we estimate? We round it to the nearest whole number. This will become what? 600 times 20. This equals to 12,000. Okay, we said 600 times 20, which is equal to 1000, or sorry, 12,000. This is one way of finding the estimation. Here I used compatible numbers, but you can also round it to the nearest whole number, so it will become 640 times 20, which is equal to 12,800. Okay, any way will work. You can choose which way you want. Here I'm going to use the compatible number, so this will be 300 times 60, which is equal to 18,000, and here 438 will become 400 times 30, which is equal to 12,000. This is of course by the compatible number, and here I'm just going to use the rounding method, so it will be 570 times 50, which is equal to, let's see, 570 times 50, which is equal to 828,500. If you use compatible number, it will become 600 times 50, which will be 30,000. So both answers are acceptable. Now, which equation represents the best estimate of 367 times 29? So the first one is 300 times 20, which is, of course, it's wrong because he didn't even use a compatible number, or he used it wrong. This should be 400. And this should be 30, but he used it wrong. Now 300 times 30, so he made this one is correct, but this one is also wrong. Here is 400 times 20, this one is correct and this one is wrong. Finally, this is 400 times 30, both are correct, so this one is the best estimate. Now, what is the product of these questions? So this is simple. 6 times 7, it's 42. We write the 2 and the 4 above. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16, so we put 6 and 1 above. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 1, it's 19, so 19. So the answer is 1962. 8 times 3 is 24, we put 4 and 2 above. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 2 is 34, so we put 4 and 3 above. 8 times 5 is 40, times plus 3 is 48. 3. So 4,344, and you just solve these two questions on your own, or I could just give you the answer straight away here. The answer for the first question is 9,655, and here is 13,848. Check your solution. If it's correct, then you're fine, but if you have other numbers, you should revise your solution. Now, write the multiplication expression using factors of 10, then find the value. So we multiply by 10. Okay, so using factors of 10, then we find the value. So this should be 33.6 times 10 times 10. This should equal what? We move it 1 unit to the right. So we move it 2 units. 1 unit times each 10, we move it 1 unit to the right. So we have 2 tens, so we move it 2 units. So 1, 2. So it's here. So the answer should be 360.0 or 360. Both answers are the same. So here this will be 3 units. So 7.2, we move this 1. This is 1 unit. 2 units, we put 0. 3 unit, we put another 0. So the answer is 72,000 or 7,200. The answer is 7,200. An easier way to solve this, here we have how many numbers after the decimal point? We have only one number after the decimal point, and here how many numbers do we have? We have 3. So 1 minus a 3 or 3 minus 1 is 2, so we just add 2 zeros without the decimal point. Let's try it here. Here we have one number after the decimal point, or one digit after the decimal point. Here we have the exponent is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So this is the number of zeros that we add. So the answer is 4,800 or 48,000. 48,000 is 3 zeros. Why? Because here we have the number 4. Here we have one digit after the decimal point. 4 minus 1 is 3. So we add 3 zeros. This is a fast way of solving. Now here we have 2. Here we have one number after the digit. 2 minus 1 we add is 2 minus 1 equal 1. So here is 1. This is 2. 2 minus 1 equal 1. So here we have now 190. The answer is 190. Now, which one is equivalent to 7.6 times 10 to the power of 3? So this will be equal to what? We put 2 zeros, 7,600. So it's where is 7,000? This one. This one is correct. Now, which expressions are equivalent to 73,400? Or sorry, I think it's 43,400, not 73. It's 3,400. So this one, the first one, we move it 2 units. So this equals to 34, which is incorrect. So here we move it 3 units, which is equal 340, which is also incorrect. Here we move it 2 units. This will be 340, which is also incorrect. Here we move it 3 units to the right. So this will be 3,400, which means that this is correct. Here we put 2 zeros, so it's 3,400. So this is also correct. And here it's 43,000, which is incorrect. So only D and E are correct. Okay. let's find now what is the product here. These questions should be very simple on you guys. 45 times 1.7, this is, you just multiply 45 times 17, this will become 765. Here we have how many numbers, or how many numbers after the period, a decimal point. Here we have 0, here we have 1, so the decimal point moves 1 unit to the left, so the answer should be 76 76.5. Now when we multiply 45 point times 0.17, this will be 7.65. It's the same as the previous one, but you move instead of 1 unit, you move 2 units, so it will become 7.65. Now I want you to solve, or let's just give you the answers, so make it easier for you. So 32 times 14 is 448. 32 times 1.4, so we just move the decimal point 1 unit to the left, it will be 44.8. Then 3.2 times 1.4, you move it another unit to the left, so it will be 4.48. Okay, now I would like you to continue solving these questions on your own from 6 all the way to 11. It's the same idea. Now we want to find the missing products. Here we have this is pretty jammed here. 67 times 43, and 67 times 43 is what? This is two whole numbers. This will become 2278. When we multiply 67.3.4, you just move it 1 unit to the left, so it will become 227.8. Now you multiply 6.7 times 3.4, you move it yet another unit to the left, so it will become 22.78. Okay. Okay, now there are 24,000 quarters in rows of 40. There are 24,000 quarters in rows of 40 quarters each. How many rows of quarters are there? So you have 24,000 quarters. Each quarter, 24,000 quarters in rows. So we have 24,000 quarters in total, and we put them in rows of 40. So each row has 40. So it's 24,000 divided by 40. How do we do this? This is pretty simple. We take zero out, 2,400 divided by 4, which will be 600. Okay, let's continue. This is 600 rows, of course. So we have 600 rows. Each row is 40. If you want to check if your answer is correct, so you multiply 600 times 40. You take the zeros out. 6 times 4 is 24, and you add the 3 zeros, so it's 24,000. So your answer is correct. Okay. Okay, now Drew wants to solve 12,000 divided by 20. starting with the basic fact 12 divided by 2 equal 6. Drew then uses patterns to find a quotient of 60. Is Drew correct? Yes or no? So we have 12,000 divided by 20. We don't know this, so we start with a basic fact 12 divided by 2 equal 6. So what do we do here? We add 0 to 12 and 0 to 20. 120 divided by 2, or sorry, 20. 120 divided by 20 equal what? 6. Because we added 0 to the dividend and 0 to the divisor, which means we didn't do anything. Basically the answer still remains the same. Now we add 0 here, but we don't add here 0, so it will be 1200 divided by 20. When you add a 0 or you multiply the dividend by 10 and you do not change the divisor, the quotient will be multiplied by 10. So the quotient will be 60. Why? Because we multiplied the divisor, the dividend or this number, by 10 and we didn't change the divisor. So our quotient will be also multiplied by 10. Now let's multiply again by 10. So it will be 12,000 divided by 20. So this will also be multiplied by 10. So the answer is 600. So Drew is what? He's incorrect. Why? Because he said the quotient is 60, but no, the quotient is 600. Okay? Now, a building has 20 floors. A building has 20 floors and has a total floor area of 40,000 square feet. What is the area of each floor? So we multiply we divide 40,000 divide by 20. We don't know this, so we use the basic fact 4 divided by 2 equal 2. Now we multiply by 10 and multiply the dividend by 10 and the divisor by 10. 40 divide 20 equal 2 as well, because we multiply both the divisor and the dividend by 10, so the quotient does not change. Now let's multiply the dividend by 10. So 400 divided by 20, this equals what? 20. Why? Because we multiply the dividend by 10, but we did not change the divisor. So this will be 20. Now let's multiply again by 10. So 4,000 divided by 20 is 200. Lastly, 40,000 divided by 20 is equal to 2,000. So we have how many? The area is 2,000 square feet. Square feet, okay? I don't have a space to write it, but just square feet. Now, there are 18,000 envelopes in packs of 60. How many packs of envelopes are there? So 18,000, I'll just give you this full answer. Divide by 60. This is 300 packs. Okay, we have, I think, 4 more questions left. 300, we want to solve for the unknown here. Solve for the unknown. 396 divided by 12 equal n. N times 12 equal 369. So we want to find a number n. We multiply by 12 gives us 369 or 96. So this number here, let's just multiply. Let's just write n as 30. 30 times 12 equal how much? 30 minus 30 times 12. 3 times 12, so it's 360. Okay, 360 minus 396 minus 360 is 36. So 3 times 12 equal 36. Now we add these two together. We will have 33 times 12 equal, let's just add these two together. We will have 396. Okay, 396. Now, which means that our n equal 33. So this is a nice way to solve or to find the quotient. We change the division into multiplication. 396 divided by 12 equal n, which is an unknown number. So we change this statement into n times 12 equal 396. And now we started to multiply random numbers by 12 to get close to 396. So we started with 30. 30 times 12 is 360. Now we needed 36 more. So 3 times 12 is 36. We add 3 plus 30 plus 3 is 33. So our n is 33. Now I want you to solve the rest of these questions. Okay, I'll just give you the answers directly, and you guys just solve it and check your answers. Here s equal 28, and here m equal 6, and here a equal 13. Check your answers, try and solve the same way that I did, and you should get these answers. Now to the last question. Write a multiplication equation you could use to solve 480 divided by 12. So we have 480 divided by 12 equal, let's say, a number d. So the first step, we change the multiplication to, we change the division to multiplication. So this will become d times 12 equal 480. Now let's multiply 12 by, let's say, 20. 20 times 12 equal 240. Now 240 is what? 48 minus 240 is 240. So 240 is half 480. So we need 20 more. So 20 times 12 equal again 240. Now let's add these two numbers. 20 plus 20 is 40. 40 times 12 equal what? 240 plus 240 is what? 480. So this is the correct answer. So our D equal 40, which means 480 divided by 12 equal 40. Okay, this is the last question. I hope you all understood and had a nice time. I wish you all success in your exam. Okay, thank you. I will see you later, inshallah. مع السلامة.